Hello and welcome. This is episode 2 of Let's Code TimeTrack, Scenario Analysis. In this part I play through a few usage scenarios that the design builds onto. Scenario number 1. Work on 2 projects. Here I list a typical tracking session involving 2 projects. When I start working, I notice the TimeTrack application because it's always visible in the system tray. I select a project I'm going to start, which is a frequent action and should be quick to perform. Then I work on the first project. I stop and resume tracking during a coffee break. This is an even more common thing than selecting a project, so it should be just one click or hotkey away. Later I simply switch to the second project. I don't have to stop the tracking. The application takes care of finishing the first tracking entry and starting the second implicitly. Finally, I stop tracking and work for the session. Scenario number 2. Starting a new project. Adding new projects is not that common, so it's placed in the Project Manager widget that can be summoned from the System Tray icon context menu. The new project is automatically selected. The project manager stays around so the user can verify the state and decide to perform more project actions before exiting. Scenario number 3. Fade a project. Once the number of projects in TimeTrack increase, the project selection widget becomes crowded. Because there is only a limited number of projects that are worked on at a time, the other projects can be faded in the project manager. This way they don't appear anymore in the quick selection list, but are still present in the project manager and can be unfaded at any time. Archive a project. Archiving is a way to remove project entries from all of the UI. They are not deleted per se from the data file, but marked as archived and can be restored with external tools. Scenario number 5. Cold start tracking. The cold start scenario is based on the assumption that the user wants to toggle the tracking state no matter what the state the application is in before. When the application is launched with the toggle command, it detects that no other instance is yet running, so it runs the startup sequence, initializes the last active project, and starts tracking. The user then immediately switches the project. The tracker now discards the first tracking time because it has a duration below 5 minutes, the threshold for tracking. Scenario number 6. First start. On startup, the application checks for an existing configuration file, and if it does not find it, it assumes that it is a new installation. So it asks for the data file location and stores it in the configuration file. Then it checks if the data file is already existent, in which case it just loads it and restores a state from it. Otherwise, it prompts the user to specify the initial project list. Scenario number 7. Use app as control. TimeTrack is not only a single instance application, but also a control application for existing instances. When the app is started with an argument and it detects that an existing instance is already running, it opens a COM channel, sends the command, and then exits. The existing instance reacts to the command. If no existing instance is found, it runs the regular startup sequence and applies the argument to itself. Scenario number 8. Evaluate time totals. To make the tracking data useful, it needs to be aggregated, which is what the statistics widget is doing. The time total widget does a three structure approach, showing totals of a time frame. The user has the option to filter by projects, by template, or custom timeframes. The user can also switch to a punch card view. Finally, the user can choose to compare 2 timeframes. Thanks for watching. This short episode laid the foundation for the program design. Wish you a good day and goodbye.